Ladies and gentlemen across planet Earth, what's up? And welcome to Morning Coffee. What's up, guys?
I am Kate Buckley. Some of you may know me as from my Twitter or my YouTube channel, The Kate Awakening. Thanks, Mom.
Where's everybody at? Where are you at, family?
It was at that point I knew, like, I was like, this feels good. I know we're like doing something right
same.
here.
Yeah.
Good day. I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite creator. This is Baseline. I'm your host, Xavier Hawk.
It was pumping. I knew when the masses woke up, they were going to want to ride that wave, and there's going to be a big push.
Before that, though, just going to burn a little bit of Palo Santo. Just get everybody settled in.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life.
See? You can't be afraid of anything in life, you guys. You gotta just get over your fear. Especially if you're afraid of doing something, that's all the more reason why you should hit it and go for it. Pedal to the metal. Because fear is just a frequency you don't want to live in.
You wear your blues like a new pair of shoes and keep the secrets in your heart locked up in a tomb. I got the tool to make your mind, body, and spirit move, but I pursued all I can, and now the rest is up to you.
Beep, bubble, beep.
Hello, hello. I see you all here. This would be considered in a way a blackout if the hours did roll by and there was no data all of a sudden, but it was just all black. That's what we call a blackout.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the Cosmic Download. My name is Jace.
We're getting the gang back together. The tribe is gathering.
All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome to Cosmic Origins. This is the Cosmic Download. Glad to have you here. That was the trailer for our Family of Light gathering that we're going to be hosting here in Sedona, Arizona, which you can see the beautiful background. This is a picture I took myself in Sedona. You can check out everything about the conference here at familyoflight.info. All of our awesome speakers. We're going to have a bunch of musicians, vendors. It's at an amazing venue in Sedona with a great view of the Red Rocks. And we have passes on a sale if you pay with cryptocurrency, which is it's a really good deal. It's a really big sale. So familyoflight.info to check that out. And let's go ahead and burn some Palo to get this started. Would you guys put a 1 in the chat or your favorite emoji, because that's more fun if the audio and video is all good. I just switched over to my Ethernet because the Wi-Fi was a little buggy, so hopefully it's holding up. It's funny because I was going to start the stream today and I was like, man, I feel like I have nothing to talk about. Like, nothing was coming to my mind and I hadn't really prepped any stories. But after getting online for like 10 minutes, I found a bunch of stuff that was like super pertinent and relative to what's going on in the world right now and what we've been talking about on this channel. So some Palo for you. And what's up, Mowgli? Hey, Earthworth, Angelito, good to see you guys. Another quick shout out before we jump into this. Tonight, I'm going to be on the Journey to Truth podcast with my friend Zen God, with Zach, and we're going to be talking about the quantum golden age and crypto, conscious crypto, where it's taking us, and probably a bunch of other amazing topics. And this is going to be really cool. I'm really excited for this because I'm really good friends with obviously both Journey to Truth, Tyler and Aaron. I've known them for years, and we've like done a lot of amazing projects together and a lot of content. And Zach is someone that I've only connected with in like the past 6 months or so. And they're like just such both awesome groups, all three of them. And to like bring it all together on the show tonight and like combine these different wisdoms is going to be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be 5 o'clock PST, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time over on Journey to Truth YouTube. And you can catch that. Link is down below in the description. So to kind of cover the basics of our crypto stories, just to kind of hit prices real quick, Bitcoin's at 34,000. It's been kind of, consolidating around the low 30,000s. The rest of the market's kind of been following. We've been in a big sort of a lull lately, as you may or may not have noticed. XRP back down to number 7 at 67 cents. It's been hanging out in the 60-cent range for the past week or so. And yeah, we have the opportunity of Flare hopefully coming out this month. Flare Networks is supposed to come out late June, early July. So we're in July now, and hopefully we're going to see that launch. Another interesting tidbit, Binance has been going through a lot of struggles lately. There's been a lot of lawsuits internationally with Binance, and here's an article from a couple days ago, June 27th, but it says financial watchdog bans crypto exchange Binance from the UK. And so there's a lot of heat on Binance right now, and it's kind of leading up to the same event that I'm seeing play out with XRP and this financial restructuring, the Great Reset, the QFS, whatever you kind of want to call it. There's a lot of restructuring and shifting going on behind the scenes in the crypto world. And of course, we talk about all the time how, when it comes to conscious crypto and cosmic crypto, there's going to be a big shifting. And Bitcoin is one of those that, when you tap into it empathically, it kind of has that energy of the big kid on the block, or, the one ring to rule them all. It's got kind of a cocky energy to it. And Bitcoin thinks it's the one, thinks it's the only one, basically, from an energetic standpoint. So obviously, we've talked about the Chinese control of Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is not quite as decentralized as it appears because of that, and how projects like XRP and other ones are actually more for the people and will end up backing a cash and physical asset system, right? So this is a big thing that I keep coming back to, is that, with Bitcoin, the intention with Bitcoin is to kind of replace cash and replace potentially even gold and these hard, heavy metals and things like that, physical assets. And with the more quantum coins, the ISO 2022 protocol, the Interledger protocol, the Overledger protocol, all of these financial, industrial financial coins, they are set up to be in an ecosystem. And the only way that they can actually function properly is if they are in an ecosystem. And it's kind of like the free market in a way, right? Like, we shouldn't have a monopoly on a certain part of the market. There shouldn't be like one business that owns the entire part of a certain aspect of the market, like, a lot of the big tech companies do now and have been pushing more for. So what I, often tell people that are new to crypto, that are especially coming from like a spiritual or conscious place, and they think that this is moving us into the NWO digital system, I tell them that basically that's what, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Libra coin were all supposed to be. But coins like XRP are actually going to back gold, and not necessarily be backed by gold or vice versa, but they're going to enhance the transaction of gold and the personal ownership of gold and the liquidity of gold, how quickly we can move it around the planet. And like that scenario I always go back to is being able to take like your bar of gold to your Bank of America, and you want to send it to your friend in, China or the UK or, Egypt or whatever. And so you give your bank in America or wherever you are your bar of gold. They put it into digital gold. They put that into XRP. Bridge asset that over, settles in 2 to 4 seconds. And then the bank in the other country then liquidates that into their asset, gold in this case. And then your friend on the other side of the world has their gold bar in a couple minutes. And so that's like, just a simple example of how these conscious new earth energy type systems in the blockchain space are going to be empowering the personal retail investor like us and the average person like us. And I think that's really important to like keep in mind and go back to for the people that are still kind of skeptical or cautious about crypto, which is good. Stay discerning always, but really look into the difference in the projects and, realizing that like in all aspects of this crazy earth, matrix that we live in, there's battles going on of light and dark. And this is very present in the financial space in general and also in the crypto space. Cool. Sounds like audio and everything's all good in the chat. I'm a little late. Best place to get Flare, asks Mowgli. You can't buy Flare yet, but when it launches, it'll be pretty obvious. I'm assuming Uphold, which is where you can buy XRP, will support Flare. Also called Spark. Spark is the actual name of the coin. If you hear me say that, Flare is the name of the network, but the Spark coin also uses the ticker FLR. So just to kind of clarify that. So right now you can get the IOUs, which are, inferred pricing. Like we don't know what the actual price is going to be. So it's completely, determined by the speculation of the market right now. But the one of the IOUs you can get on BitTrue, the other one you can get on Poloniex. Both of them are kind of hard to use in the States. So that's one thing. I would recommend, if you're not like super into figuring out that kind of stuff, just waiting until the network launches sometime this month, hopefully. And there should be an ample opportunity to get some Spark before it really takes off, because there's going to be a lot of people who don't realize the power of the social governance and the staking abilities and the passive income. And this is something I've been, I talked to my dad on the phone yesterday and a family friend about this, and like about how the Flare networks is going to really change the game for passive income and for social governance and in relation to passive income in this whole digital space. And how, just by holding that Spark token that on the Flare networks, there's 3 different ways to make passive income. Let me see if I can get all 3 right. One is the governance vote, which is basically like you vote for governance on the system. So changes in the network are proposed by the community. And then as a citizen of the Flare network, you actually vote for the direction, right? Because it's a decentralized community. And so you vote for the direction. There are, of course, developers on the other side that will create those actual changes that we ask, to be created in the network. But then you get rewarded. So imagine like in our voting system, if you got paid to vote for the president. And I've heard some people say like, oh, well, that could be, sketchy because like, there'd be a lot of people just voting for BS because they want to get paid. But don't think of it like that. Think of it more like a fair energy system where you are giving to the system and the system is giving back to you. And it's not some kind of centralized system with a centralized authority. It's a completely decentralized for the people type of system. So governance vote is one of the ways you can make passive income, like actually make money, make Spark tokens, or it might be F assets. But either way, it's actual value. The other one is the data provider. So you basically you can also delegate your vote, by the way, to a third-party group. And for the data provisions, pretty sure you have to delegate your vote unless you want to become your own data provider, which is kind of a complicated thing. But you delegate your vote to a third-party data provider. They provide the data, and then you get a reward percentage of that. And then the third way is to actually become an agent. It's basically like becoming your own bank in a way, becoming your own broker in a way. You become an agent, a collateral agent for the Flare network. So every time what are called F assets are minted, these F assets are the Flare equivalent with the smart contract capabilities of whatever assets you're bringing on. So right now, all we have approved officially before the social governance opens up and we get a vote on whatever else we want to bring in. Pre-approved are XRP, XLM, Doge, and Litecoin. And then once the network goes live and we get social governance abilities, we'll be able to vote in theoretically whatever asset we want. So likely we'll see Bitcoin, and probably some of the other top, coins, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, some of those guys come in. So in the minting of those assets into F assets, which gives them those superpower smart contract capabilities, right? This is what turns Doge, which is a joke coin, into actually a utility that could actually be used for New Earth financial systems, like Elon is insinuating and kind of setting us up to understand on a larger scale. So Doge was used as a really good way to bring people into crypto in a friendly, mimetic, if that's a word, mimetic way, like thematic, but mimetic. And, it had that utility in a way that it was, the meme itself was kind of a utility in bringing people into being interested in cryptocurrency. And then at the same time, Flare announced this F asset protocol and that they'd be bringing on Doge. And they've really been playing into the memes of Doge and creating meme content. And now Doge is going to have all these smart contract DeFi superpowers. So you'll be able to do things like decentralized finance, decentralized real estate, potentially decentralized loans, all sorts of decentralized sort of payment and payment infrastructures that you wouldn't normally get with these kind of coins. And then XRP, XLM, and Litecoin will get all that too. So to do that actual minting process, that's where the Spark holders come into play. And so there's a 5% minting fee to turn, say, your XRP into FXRP. You have to pay a 5% fee. Now that 5% fee in a centralized system would typically go to the central authority, whether it's an exchange or a bank or whatever. Because this is decentralized, that 5% fee and all of the fees on the network go back to the people. They go back to, in this case, the Spark holders who are providing the Spark as collateral for that F asset minting. And by minting, all that kind of really means in this case is you're swapping one asset of value for another asset of value, and there needs to be a collateral provided in exchange for that. And that's where the Spark comes in. So this might be like, a little bit intense or complicated for some people, but, just to drive home a little bit of the basics on how, in this instance, just the Spark token alone has 3 passive income capabilities. So what I was getting at there is that we would we're going to see a large portion of people who, especially as, Flare continues to hype up and has been hyping up, a huge portion of people that get that understand that, and right away, when they get their Spark airdrop, they're going to have an incentive to immediately place it on the network and provide it in one or all 3 of these passive income opportunities on the Flare network. And alternatively, the people who are unaware of the capabilities and the possibilities that come in with this, they will be selling their coins, right? So there's going to be a fraction of people that have no idea really what this is. They have their XRP, they got the airdrop, but they're like, okay, I'm just going to make a quick buck and get rid of it all. That's where people like us will be able to come in and buy up whatever liquidity is available there. And it's really going to be kind of a guessing game, as far as like how hyped up Flare is going to be and how much Spark will be available to actually purchase, how much it's going to be. It's possible that because the hype is so strong, especially with this new 888, the new world, which I'll show you guys, because I think I talked about that, but I never showed it. This is just real quick. This is a decentralized NFT marketplace being built on Flare. And this is run by prominent artists like Alex and Allison Gray, Paris Hilton, Blau, and a bunch of other EDM electronic artists. And so essentially the purpose of this is to create a space where artists, whether they're physical artists, music artists, can create intellectual property and actually own it, and then be able to share that intellectual property for minimal fees. So I think they talk about like how typically for, say, a gallery artist, you'd be charging 15 to 40% commission, and then, platforms would be charging 15 to 40%. Galleries would be charging up to 50%. And they said if we're truly going to create a new world, then we need to put artists first, and that means changing things up a lot, and that they believe 8.88% is fair. So there's the numerology again. It's really coming into the mainstream. And it's funny to see Paris Hilton be a part of something like this, because obviously all the scandals that she's been a part of, and how the media kind of portrayed her, but now she's like a kind of a more reputable, like Burning Man DJ. And to see this is just promising. Whether or not you like these artists or not, I only know like a small couple, and there's some questionable maybe people on here, but overall the fact that the hype of that this was created by well-known artists before this network even dropped. Like, think about all the people trying to get people on Ethereum as like a mainstream artist platform, and they're still working at it. Like, they're still trying to make Ethereum and the NFTs on Ethereum seem like they're worth it, like they're practical. But of course, Ethereum fees and the NFTs that come with the Ethereum NFTs, wow, that was a mouthful. That was a tongue twister. The fees that come with the Ethereum NFTs are really ridiculous and make it almost not worth it to even engage in the NFT space. So NFTs on the Flare network, which, if you're brand new to NFT, non-fungible token, basically a uniquely minted digital crypto that gives it a trackable history. And, this is kind of the beauty about the blockchain in general, is that you can create so many different forms of record keeping on the blockchain. And whether it's voting or social governance or intellectual property or real estate, anything where you have a history of ownership or a history of value moving around that was traditionally managed by single party groups, by centralized groups, we're moving into this decentralized space. And that's what I really try to share with people who are still kind of skeptical about this from like a conscious perspective, a new earth perspective. Like, we're already living in a digital world in terms of all of our digital data. And so who's managing our digital data right now? It's mainly centralized private dark groups. So we need to go from a corrupt digital system to at least a digital system that's for the people. And that's where I see blockchain really coming into play moving forward. And we're going to get into this a lot more tonight with Zen God and Journey to Truth podcast tonight, 5 p.m. PST. This is what this episode's really going to be diving into, like the meat of this kind of stuff, and how this applies to the big shifts we're moving forward on the earth right now. So, yep. Jump over to the comments. CryptoGrab says, so happy to be here. Life-changing wealth for the star seeds is right around the corner. Yeah, so true. And that's what, anytime any kind of doubt or, FUD starts to come into my mind regarding XRP, or it being what, we've all been led to believing that it is, I come back to this concept that like so many people in this space have been divinely led to XRP. Right? It's been like a spiritual awakening for a lot of people. A lot of people are awakening because of XRP. Like, so many people I've seen waking up freshly and like bam, 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 getting all these downloads and understandings that it took years for other communities to like, fully understand and integrate, including myself. And now people waking up in general are like 100th monkey affecting it. 100th monkey effect is where those monkeys on the island were taught how to wash potatoes, and then the monkeys on the other islands that weren't physically connected, had no way of physical communication, started washing their potatoes too. And it showed that there's a collective consciousness, that when you teach one part of the collective consciousness a concept, the rest of the collective consciousness has access to those wisdoms and those memories in a way. So I really believe that's what's happening now with these awakening communities. Like, people are waking up and they're getting the full scope of what it took some people maybe years or decades to learn. And that's beautiful. That's nothing that, should be looked at in a bad light, or, should be looked at like, oh, it took me so long, but this person is doing it so fast. That's just the nature of the game right now. Like, the dominoes are falling, the avalanche is, building up momentum. Like, this is the awakening, and this is how it's playing out. It's going to continue to be faster and faster. And so, yeah, the fact that all these people were led to XRP divinely and like spiritually led to it, it's just such a testament and evidence to me of what is really going on here. Mowgli says, how will the precious metals economy affect artists who work with said metals, like silver? Well, I would say if you're working with the physical metals and the through this Great Reset, quantum financial system, whatever kind of label you want to put on it, we're gonna see the value of these sacred metals, precious metals increase. Of course, like gold and silver and all the other precious metals are going to become more valuable. At least that's my opinion. And so if you're working with the precious metals, like I don't know if you mean like making jewelry and like physical crafting, I think it's gonna be a much more valuable trade. And I'm seeing that crystals are going to be very similar, like crystals, which is good news for a lot of us that have a ton of crystals all around our house. I think crystals are going to be going up in value as well, because as we start moving into this new conscious space, there's going to be more value put upon, crystals. Like here's a piece of lapis right here, lapis wand. Lapis is a very powerful crystal that the ancient Egyptians used, a lot of the ancient cultures used, really powerful for the third eye. And this one was crafted by a guy here locally in Sedona. Got another one of my favorite crystals here. But anyway, crystals are like, the crystals are going to become really valuable too, because they're precious metals in a way, right? Like they're all precious minerals. And just like the metals are precious for trade, I believe that crystals are going to be very highly valued in the same respect. So anyone working in these fields, I think, will inherently have more kind of abundance and value come into their trade. Jay says Flare will be available through like 40 exchanges when Flare goes live in a month or so. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. There is a list that is on, I don't know if it's on the Flare or Flare Finance websites, but I've seen it floating around, and it's all the participating exchanges that are going to participate in either the Spark airdrop or the Spark, they might be mutually exclusive. I'm not sure if every exchange is doing both the airdrop and having it as an open asset on the market after that, but presumably it would be. Sparky XRP says, I can't keep up with all the incredible content lately. Cosmic Origins, Zen God, Mickey B. Fresh, New Titan 888. Oh, I haven't heard of that. New Titan. I'm going to have to check that out. Quincy Jones, Internet Paradise. Nice. Yeah, Zen, Zen, as I said, we're going to be on the podcast tonight with Journey to Truth. He just did like a $10,000 XRP giveaway from a bunch of people who donated thousands in XRP to this giveaway as basically a contest, and people made videos and wrote essays about why they needed it, and he gave away like 14 different $1,000 XRP giveaways, which is just incredible, and I'm blown away. That was such a cool thing to see. Lots of amazing content and work and energy being put into these awakening communities now, and more people are feeling called to it, and they're finding like meaning and fulfillment and purpose in this kind of content over just the standard crap that they put on TV or YouTube. Typically we're moving into like content that not only excites people, makes people happy, makes people feel connected, but is empowering people and is like actually meaningful and actually important to the shifts on the planet right now. So everyone here, all these people you listed, everyone that's making this kind of content, I'm so proud of this whole community. Tyler says, hey, you're the guy from The Mummy. I still haven't seen that movie. Apparently I look like the main guy when my hair is down. I just need those tattoos. Does he have tattoos? I haven't seen it. I need some more tattoos. Oh, no, I can't believe you haven't seen it yet. You haven't seen it either, right?
No, we watched, what was it that we watched instead of that?
We watched Total Recall. Oh, yeah. I don't look like Arnold. Oh, is it glitching out, you guys? Uh-oh. Are you on Wi-Fi right now? Uh-oh. Bummer that we're glitching. Is it just the video of the new world that's glitching, or is it like my audio and everything too? Bummer. We're just gonna have to push through it, you guys. Hopefully you can still at least hear what I'm saying. So let's jump into some of the other stories going on. Let's okay, we talked about crypto. Let's jump into the main meat of what was going on in this thumbnail, which is the first X-class solar flare of solar cycle 25. So X-class solar flares, as Alexis will tell you on her channel Ascension Diaries, X-class solar flares are the largest scale solar flare on the spectrum, and M-class being the second most strong, or the second strongest. And we had an M-class solar flare directly after this X-class solar flare this morning. So I believe the X-class solar flare took place around 5 a.m. Pacific time this morning. And then the M-class was at like 9 o'clock or something, I guess. And so just to read this a little bit, it says, today's X-class solar flare is the first X-class solar flare of solar cycle 25. So they split up the solar cycles into, are they multi-year cycles? 11 years per cycle? Okay, 11 years per cycle. Around 11. And we're in solar cycle 25 since I guess they began tracking it originally. And it's the strongest of 25 and the first X-class solar flare since the massive X.82 flare that took place on September 10th, 2017. The day before September 11th. Very interesting. The last X-class flare? The last major X-class flare was in 2017. Okay. That was the last biggest one. That was a 8.2. Yes, it has indeed been almost 4 years since we last breached the X-class threshold. Isn't it crazy? Our sun is one day early with her fireworks display to celebrate Independence Day with our American friends. But we will take it nonetheless. That's pretty cool. I didn't even think about that. It's kind of like a celestial firework in a way. This morning, we already got an M2.7 flare from sunspot region 2838. The solar flare peaked at 717. 717 UTC is when the flare peaked. Wow. What are the chances? And that was the M class, yes. The M class peaked at 717. And who would have guessed that this was a sign of things to come? A shame that this newly developed region is already on the northwest limb. It will transit onto the far side of the solar disk in the next 24 to 48 hours, and any future eruptions coming from it are for sure not going to be directed towards our planet. Interesting. I'm going to close that and see if that helps. I don't know why it's glitchy. I'm looking at the YouTube now on my phone. It is a little glitchy. But can you guys still hear me all right? Are you sure you're running it through the Ethernet? Although it just disconnected, which is weird. Yeah. Or maybe it's trying to connect. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Crypto Grab says XRP Bags is a cool channel also. Yeah, he's pretty chill. Makes music too, which is cool. I like it when channels kind of mix up stuff like that. So, yeah, this solar flare. So this is big, right? Because not only, you know, we talk about the solar flash. I talked about the Allison Co. QHHT session where they talked about a large solar flare event type happening that knocked out basically a lot of people, potentially like the vaccinated people, basically, if I'm allowed to say that word. And so to see increased solar activity like this is kind of expected and also natural, you know, even normally natural. So to kind of look at what else is going on in this, you know, around this time period, because it's always, in my opinion, good to look at what else is going on in the world. Alexa said, can you imagine if they released Flare networks today? That'd be crazy. Flare on the solar flare. So I'm going to jump back over to, I'm going back and forth between Wi-Fi and Ethernet. See which is better. But whatever, we'll just push through it. So what else is going on? Well, for one, today is Trump's Florida rally. So that's a pretty interesting, just kind of divine synchronicity that the day of the Florida rally, which I think it's today, right? I should probably double check that. Saturday night. Yeah, tonight. So solar flare this morning, Trump rally tonight. That's a pretty big, like, synchronicity, quantum connection in my eyes. And then on top of that, you know, Mr. Poole has been posting a lot about flooding, a lot of pictures of flooding and double meaning of liquidity, but also physical floods. Well, this is really intense and sad, but 2 people dead and 19 missing after this landslide in Japan. Hopefully this video is showing up for you guys. Oh, so gnarly. Devastating. Now, it is a landslide. It's not like a tsunami, but it pretty much does, you know, feel like a tsunami in a way. And when you have that much land moving, it pretty much is a liquid at that point. So could this have been one of the things that Poole was warning about? I mean, it seems like a pretty obvious connection to me that we were getting all of those, you know, for over a year now, warnings about the flood, various floods, and people have gone back and forth about floods of liquidity. Is this money? Is this a physical flood? But, you know, double meanings on everything. And anyways, I thought that was important to connect to, and, you know, prayers and blessings to everyone who is involved in this horrible tragedy, and hopefully they find those 19 missing people. And so to kind of connect that back to Mr. Poole, I'm going to check the stream again, just make sure it's still somewhat watchable. Okay, we're good. So, no, I'm not recording it. So, but this is a little bit old. If you follow Mr. Poole on the daily, you've already seen this. But these are posts from Mr. Poole from around the 23rd of June, and of course, you know, you can read what they say. Kind of obvious for anyone that still kind of doubts if this whole XRP Mr. Poole thing is connected to this. You know, Ripple. You know, we've talked about donated. It was like 17,000 or 170,000, something with a 17 in it, to the Trump administration, and was working behind the scenes with the Trump admin, and it's just really obvious that it's all connected at this point. This could mean a 6-month, you know, 6-month expiration on something. Maybe we have a 6-month timer, and then we had, you know, this kind of laughing photo of, like, hopefully what we're going to be looking like in the next year or so, enjoying time on a kayak and the islands maybe. And let's see, these are kind of old too. We had this on the 24th, extraction. Now on the 26th. These are old as well. Some of these are reposts. This is from a page that reposts Poole. We had this shaking hands on the 27th between yellow and red. And we had the Phoenix rising, and then if you saw, I believe Zach talked about this, Zen God, in his video, and a couple other people, there was an eruption on Mount, is it Sitna in Sicily, the volcano there, and the lava flow on the side of the mountain looked quite identical to a phoenix. Of course, it was red, not blue, but very similar. I did hear reports, though, that that photo is over a year old, so use discernment with that. Have these other photos, which are kind of, I don't know what they mean exactly, but the thinker. world being turned upside down potentially. And then this one, I really like the energy of this one. Kind of bringing back the ancient knowledge, esoterics, pyramid knowledge, sun knowledge. Then we have controlled. We have more of the X smiley face eyes. So we've noticed a difference between the X smiley face eyes and the non-X smiley face eyes. And it seems like some of the consensus is that the X eyes, one representation is that they represent a downturn in the market, some kind of crash upcoming, and the smiley face eyes usually seem to preface an upturn in the market. I'm sure there are meanings beyond that, though. As with most things, there are multiple meanings. This is interesting. Since 2000, the water level in the reservoir of Lake Mead has dropped to 140 feet. Lake Mead is just 37% full, headed for a first ever official shortage and sinking toward its lowest level since it was filled. One of the driest 22 periods in centuries is colliding with the river's chronic overuse. Very interesting. A lot of dam symbolism in general. This was another proof that was verified. Pool posted this, and then it was like the next day that there was an article in the mainstream about a truck that had overturned. Almost at the finish line, potentially. Time. I don't know about you guys, but do you ever see aligned hands as a synchronicity? I started seeing this a couple of years ago in the same respect that, you would see 1111 or repeating numbers on a clock. I started seeing hands aligned on clocks. And, it's trippy enough when you start seeing like repeating numbers on clocks and various patterns like this. And it's funny because, skeptics will approach it and go, oh, well, your brain is just so smart that you're subconsciously knowing when to look at the clock, like expecting that. And the way that spirit proved that wrong to me was I started seeing these patterns on wrong clocks. I started going in, when I was in college, started going into class and seeing aligned hands on wrong clocks and, repeating numbers on wrong clocks. And that's what I knew for sure. It was completely divine synchronicity, because there's no way the mind would subconsciously know if a clock is wrong and, that it's going to have this kind of pattern on it. What's up, Squiggles, in the chat? Reborn 13 is a great channel as well. Cool. I will have to check them out. Greetings from Northern Germany. Greetings to Northern Germany. I would love to visit Germany someday. Sometimes pools overflow, says Angelito. Oh, yes, Blockchain Backer. Thank you, Sparky. Blockchain Backer is one of the best XRP YouTubers out there. He is definitely on the logical, rational chart analysis side. Pretty much strictly that, but he's super balanced. You can tell he is a spiritually balanced individual, and he is just like really, not only does he have wholesome content, but he's nice to listen to. He's just got a really good voice, and the energy flow of his content is really solid, and it always has great information. And he's one of the guys that's really pointing out like how we are, in a very objective way experiencing a lot of funny business with market manipulation. And he will be constantly pointing out how we are at critical points in the market and the market turning, and how we will, right when the market is supposed to have either a dip or an increase just based on the chart analysis, there's some kind of crazy news in the public media world, whether it's from the mainstream media or from Elon, or Elon tweeting about Bitcoin or whatever. But he's pointing out in factual ways how these events are timed with classic market cycles, which I think is really interesting, because it gives a tangible aspect and tangible sense to these claims about market manipulation, which we all know is true. Dusty BC Crypto, he's another great one. Shout out to him. All right, let's jump back over here. Also, Trust. Arcollect is another big page to follow. We've talked about it a couple of times, but if you haven't heard about it, Arcollect is connected to Mr. Pool in a way, maybe unofficially, but they have so many overlapping themes that they post back and forth. Lots of photos. Arcollect is actually officially in AI, like there's a website, arcolect.com, where the creator of it discusses how Arcolect is an AI created to discover and share stimulating and visual content. So, you know, we've speculated if Pool is some kind of AI, maybe like run by Palantir or the Looking Glass type thing, or if it's, you know, I think Red Collie, who is a big Pool analysis, thinks that Pool is a time traveler, could be a quantum computer. We don't really know, but it is interesting to get, you know, an official statement from Arcolect saying that it is an AI, and that, you know, had to have all these kind of crossovers between Arcolect and Pool. And then on top of that, Elon Musk is consistently liking Arcolect posts, and sometimes even retweeting them, like actually the real Elon Musk liking them. So another direct connection for me that this is all part of the plan. So here's a connection, right? Shell with the gas from Mr. Pool. It's a cool one from Arcolect. I picture this kind of thing coming. It's just so familiar, isn't it? And then Pool, space, and stuff as well. So again, another within a week of each other, very similar symbolism. Actually, this Pool post might be a little older, but these two, the storm and the portal, are both from recent. Or actually, sorry, this portal is from last year, but there was another one posted very recently that was similar to that, I believe. This is the end, says Arcolect. 11.3. This has been coming up non-stop, of course, from 17 posts, 11.3, 3.11. The markers were very prominent. This has consistently been showing up not only with Mr. Pool, but literally behind Biden when Biden and Putin met together at the, you know, the summit they did or whatever they called it. On the bookshelf behind Biden are a couple books that are turned out of place, and it spells out 11 backwards 3. And then the symbol in the middle, to me, of course, it's infinity, but I believe it's connected to the NSA. And this, yeah, I'll have to bring that up again if I find what I was talking about. But it was almost identical to this, you know, kind of logo. But it was the serpent and the infinity in one. So the 11.3, very prominent. We should keep looking out for symbols of that and what it means. We're also doing episode 133 tonight with Zen God and Journey to Truth, which is pretty cool because 133 is another number that's been popping up in relation to this. I'm not sure what that is. So this is, I believe this was a decoded post from Pool from the end of 2019, I guess. I'm not going to read it, but you guys can, you know, read that if you want. But all this stuff, you know, taking context, take with a grain of salt as well. Russia's central bank named 12 banks that will be involved in the initial testing of the nation's future central bank digital currency, the digital ruble. Pool posted this picture. So this is another consistent thing. If you're not a you know, regular Pool follower, Pool will consistently post photos that are then, you know, a week, a month, a couple months later, usually within a month time frame, the photo is posted by some mainstream source. So it's like direct proof that there is something quantum or time travel, quantum entanglement related going on here. And it's like, you know, it's so obvious. That's the exact same photo, right? And that's happened so many times. My cat wants to say hi. You know, host the podcast? Pool seems like a dude in the know, says Angelito. I agree. I think it's most likely, I feel like it's David Schwartz, honestly, or like somebody close to David Schwartz. I just picture David every time I picture Pool. They've got to be connected in some form or another. 913. This is another thing that these numbers have been going around. So there was 913 from Pool. Ripple Riddler was another one of these, Riddlers. 513. And Fojak says, Bearable Guy, you got the 813? So, I don't know, maybe it's a countdown. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have theories on what these numbers, the 913, 513, what they relate to. Put them in the comments or the chat. And then this was a really recent one. So this was from yesterday, and it's obviously just a stringer. I don't know how they got this, but I've been seeing this everywhere. Somehow, someone decoded this stringer into this website. And the website says, Flashback Friday, Alton Brown's Overnight Oatmeal. And, that's interesting because Pool is constantly talking about overnight. This was a big theme with XRP in general. Oh, sorry, I'm not on the internet. There we go. So here was the post I was talking about, the stringer, and then the link that it leads to. So overnight is something Pool has talked about a lot, and this was, this is something that has been talked about consistently across the XRP space, not just with Mr. Pool. I was rewatching forget if it's from the Digital Asset Investor or who, but I was rewatching the clip of the interview with the guy who owns one of these capital funds, and he was estimating the price of XRP to be between 10 and 35,000 when it becomes, if and when it becomes this international bridge asset, and that, that would be all the money, not all the money, but it would be all the money for international financial settlements. And that was a $10,000 to $30,000 price estimate. And he repeatedly said, this would happen literally in an instant. This would not be some gradual thing. This would happen basically as soon as there's regulatory clarity. And this is what I keep feeling. I was tapping in with my guides yesterday, and I did an oracle reading. I don't have the deck near me, but if you go on my Telegram, I posted a video of it. And would you grab the deck? Thanks. I did an oracle reading on basically this concept of the overnight aspect of things. And if we are, thank you, if we are going to see this kind of crazy, multi-million, billion, trillion-dollar, maybe not individually, but across the space, kind of abundance coming into the average person. Are we really going to see this happen overnight? Is this real? Is basically what I was trying to ask. And the card I got, I'm going to read it for you guys. Just the short part. It's very spot on. It says, what must be shall be. You have beautiful dreams and inspired, bold ambitions. You are guided to believe that they are a natural expression of your soul, something that is meant to be. Life will support you in the expression of those dreams and ambitions, even in the moments where it seems to be struggle rather than support that you are experiencing. The process for transformation into full maturity involves learning how to grow through light and through darkness back to light again. You will always find your way back to the light. Have faith in yourself and what must be. Dedicate yourself to what you love without hesitation. And then it kind of goes into talking about moving into fulfillment and splendor and things working out for you, and acquiring greater faith and courage and determination that we're fulfilling our purpose, and destinies unfolding, circumstances going the way that we want them to. And I was just like, wow, that to me, that seems pretty validating for where things are going. Angelina says, Chase, give us a price prediction by the end of year for XRP. No, I don't know if that would be a good idea. I'm gonna hope end of year. I would love to see at least $100 by the end of year, if not more. And I'm not predicting that. I'm not saying that is even likely. I don't know what's going to happen. I think the timeline is so in flux right now that there's so many variables and factors at play, so many different wheels turning in the system, that it could be tomorrow, could be in a couple years, could be gradual. I feel like by the end of this year, we have to at least start some kind of, at least a gradual incline to where we're going. But you never know. But with this card, it's a good sign, I think. Hey, what's up, Elena? Project Red Pill. Good to see you. Glad you're hanging out. My Life Journey 777 says XLM. What about XLM? Just XLM in general? My thoughts on it? I think XLM, I hold a small amount of XLM, not very much at all compared to XRP. I feel like it's going to be successful. I just personally, every time I go to choose one or the other, I go with XRP or XDC. XDC feels more undervalued to me than XLM, but I think XLM is a great investment as well, and is probably going to do, is going to be very involved in the same kind of protocols as XRP. My Life says, so many people in the XRP warriors are having dreams about XRP, and that in their dreams, XRP kept going up, up, up overnight. That's awesome. I still have yet to dream about XRP in particular. I did have that dream about being in a spaceship with Elon, and it was like a real spaceship, but not like one of these giant rocket bomb pieces of crap they try to pass off as spaceships. This was a real spaceship. But nothing yet about XRP, but I'm hoping to get an XRP dream soon, maybe, just to give me some more insight. Let's pop back over here. So what I noticed, you know, kind of, if this is legit, I don't know if this is 100% legit or if everyone just ran with this, you know, tweet and then shared it everywhere. I don't know how they got the URL from that, but let's just give them a benefit of the doubt and say it is legit. You know, the overnight connection is interesting. It was also funny because Alexis made oatmeal like right before I read this initially. She went to go make oatmeal and then like left it on the counter without ever making it. And I had just done the reading on the overnight, and then I pulled this up and it was like overnight oatmeal, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty trippy. So what I see, I was looking at these and I was like, okay, let's think dates. Like if they were trying to send a message, well, the top, not only the top card, the top date, but also the closest date is July 30th, Tuesday, July 30th. Now, I should probably make sure that that's actually, yeah, no, July 30th is a Friday this year, so that's not even right, because this is from, again, this article was posted on November 11th, 2011, 11/11/11. Oh. Moth. Alexa said she left out that dry oatmeal and a moth was in it this morning, and maybe there's some moth symbolism related to all this. So Tuesday, July 30th, I mean, that's not a real date for this year, but July 30th is a Friday. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, but thought I'd throw that in there. And, you know, while we're talking about crypto, I wanted to talk about this group, Finex. And I don't know totally what's going on here, but I found this. Okay, the way I found this is because I was buying Stronghold, which is SHX, on this wallet called Lobster. And I messed up big time, and I put in the wrong. And basically, there were scam tokens that are on there, and one was disguised as being a Flare network thing. It said xflarenetwork.com, and I just figured that these were different sites that were providing the Stronghold token. Ended up being a scam coin, so make sure you don't follow those. But when you put in xflarenetwork.com, which is, it's xflare-network singular.com, it takes you to this page, Finex. So that's how I found this. And I was like, well, okay, that's interesting. It says, a decentralized network based on sovereignty and commerce. Our goal is to prepare the retail market for the quantum financial system. I was like, okay, that's the first time I've ever seen any, you know, crypto network actually say quantum financial system. And I scroll down. Their website's very basic. They don't have much on here. Scroll down to roadmap, and I noticed that they had something in June called Protocol 17 implementation. And I was like, that's interesting. Protocol 17. And then their assets just went live the past couple weeks, and they have 2 assets. One is called Qubit Token. So this definitely piqued my interest, and I hadn't realized that I had been scammed yet by the that fake Flare link. I'm pretty sure it's fake. It didn't give me the right coin, so it's got to be fake. And I've heard since that there's lots of scam tokens on Lobster, so just be careful with that if you guys are buying that. So this Qubit token also had a Flare link, and there was a legit one if you go through phoenix.org, but just be careful if you get any of these. And then in general, I heard that this is connected to this folk called Whiplash, who I'm not really familiar with. I know they've got a Telegram with a bunch of followers, and people were saying that potentially Whiplash is like a scammer and is creating these scam projects and making money on them. And so just be discerning of this. I'm not sure yet if this is a legit project. I don't know if it's actually connected to Whiplash or if Whiplash is just, advertising it or talking about it, but something to keep an eye on. But be careful with actually investing in it, because again, I don't know if they're legit. And real quick, good time to talk about Family of Light again real quick. Oh, that's not right. Famulu. Our conference that Alexis and I are hosting, creating ourselves, our first ever conference of this magnitude, the Great Family of Light Gathering, is going to be coming up in just a couple weeks here in Sedona, Arizona, the 23rd to the 25th. Tons of great speakers, including Journey to Truth podcast, who we're going to be on their show tonight with Zen God. We have Troy Casey, the certified health nut, pretty popular local in Sedona, who's all about health, fitness, wellness, especially men's health. Rion De Rouen and Alexander Mazzone, both Sedona locals and pretty popular they have a channel called Unite the Collective, and Alexander has Crystal Current and Galactic Tarot companies. And we've got Decade Awakening is going to be speaking on Friday. Matthew Mornian, Sedona Sound Healing Tribe, local Sedonians, Yolanda, local Sedonian, Jonathan White, Sexual Kung Fu, also about health and wellness. Of course, Alexis, talking all about space weather. If you want to know more about, we were talking about the solar flares and CMEs, and this is really her expertise, and she's going to be giving an amazing presentation all about the Schumann resonance and space weather and how it affects our consciousness. And we've got some conscious rap Friday night from Ben Steezy. He's literally got a song called Adrenochrome and songs about, taking mushrooms and tonics and healthy living. And it's just like such a good vibe that we've curated with all these different speakers. So we're stoked. And if you can't make it out to the physical thing, we do have live stream passes available right here for all 3 days. And there's a significant discount if you get that live stream pass via crypto, via XRP as well. So far, I only have XRP on here, but I was thinking about adding XLM, XDC, and maybe a few others. Probably not Bitcoin or anything, because, I don't want to support those projects. But if there's any coins that you guys want to donate in that, are not one of those 3, or, XDC or XLM as well, you can let me know, and I will add that wallet option on there so you can pay in that, like, say, Quant or other projects like that. So yes, familyoflight.info. That's in the description down below. Check it out. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even on the internet that whole time. How silly am I? Like I went through that whole thing and you guys didn't even get to see it. Okay. Now you can see it. All those speakers I just talked about are right here. The passes with the crypto discount are right here, live stream pass. And you can check out the schedule and our venue and all that kind of stuff on the website too, familyoflight.info. The live stream pass is really going to be worth it, you guys. Like, if you can't make it out, and if you're not sure if you can make it out, if you want to buy a live stream pass and you think you still might be able to make it out, at any point you can upgrade that live stream pass to an in-person pass, and we'll just take the difference off. And that way you don't have to worry about, getting one and then realizing you're going to come in person and you've already bought the live stream or whatever. So Oh, wow, loud thunder. That was awesome. That's a good sign. This gathering is going to be so amazing, you guys. Like, we're so stoked. It's going to be such an amazing group of light workers and people ready to activate our mind, body, and spirit, and bringing together so many different like amazing communities and wisdoms, from conscious crypto to our galactic connections and our conscious connections with galactic nations and galactic peoples, and our multidimensional capabilities as individuals. That's what Matthew Mornian really focuses on. Of course, health, like we talked about, dance parties, music every night to really move it into the body. A Saturday night is when I'm going to be DJing a dance party with my best friend Love Sponge here, and we are going to it's going to be off the hook. There's going to be awesome lights and awesome tribal techno dance party music, and a couple of meme songs that you guys will probably recognize that are going to get you in the mood. So familyoflight.info for all that. I really hope to see you guys there. Again, live stream pass if you can't make it out. And yeah, I know so many people in the chat here are going to be coming, so it's going to be dope. We're super excited. And oh, this is one other story I wanted to talk about before we bounce out of here today. This is they're calling it the Eye of Fire, and it's a big fire. They're calling it a fire burning. It looks like a portal to me, burning in the Gulf of Mexico. Literally looks like some kind of giant, like, interdimensional portal burning. Hopefully you guys can see that full screen. Isn't that wild? Doesn't even look real. There's all of these oil fires burning lately. If you guys have noticed, like, it's like every day I'm seeing a new story about fires, oil fires burning in different countries. And this is the first one I've seen that's like underwater, but this is 17 seconds long too. Look at that thing. That looks like a straight up portal that like CERN opened or something, or just the earth opened. Wow, like look at the ripples in it. It's so beautiful. So I don't know what's going on really there, but you know, we had the solar flare on top of this. I don't know if this is, it doesn't feel like it's what they're saying it is, but you know, it could be. But yeah, that's the Eye of Fire, as they're calling it. Pretty gnarly. So let's see. I think there's maybe one or two other quick things I wanted to mention without links. Some stories from the Telegram group. If you're not in my Telegram group, the link for that is in the description. Cosmic Origins, both channel and chat, where a lot of these news stories are shared throughout the week before I bring them up here. More in-depth stuff too. And the chat we have is pretty awesome. Lots of great people in there talking about a lot of different subjects and connecting all this stuff together. Here's one. In Canada, the statues of Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth II have been toppled, desecrated, and damaged by a violent mob during protests in Canada on the country's National Day. So yesterday was Canada Day, if you guys didn't know. Shout out to all the Canadians. Happy Canada Day. And I wish I could show you this video. Maybe I can just hold it up to the camera. But they're literally toppling the statue of the Queen, which is amazing because if you go to Canada, you know, a lot of the energy there is ruled by the monarchy. I mean, it's on all the money. The statues are everywhere. So this is a great sign. Now, in the future, I'm going to try to pull this stuff up on my Telegram on the desktop app, but I couldn't get my streaming software to accurately see that window. So for now, we're going old school, hold up the phone. I think that was the only really visual thing, though. Another interesting story is that a 737 cargo plane in Hawaii took off from Honolulu and had to immediately turn around and landed in the water off the coast. Now, I haven't seen any pictures of this yet, but Disclosed TV shared this story, and it is interesting that it's a cargo plane and not a commercial plane. It makes me wonder if if it was sabotaged or if there was something valuable on the cargo plane that they didn't want leaving the island, or who knows what. And then Donald Trump put out a statement today saying that he will make a significant announcement about his efforts to protect Americans' First Amendment rights in Bedminster, New Jersey on Wednesday the 7th. So, yeah, that is that's something to look forward to. My friend Ryan just texted me. He said, "The oil fire makes no sense." Yeah, it's trippy. Like, I mean, obviously oil can burn on top of water, but can oil actually burn underwater? And even then, would it look like that? And there's too many questions. Too many questions. This is an interesting story. Heavily armed black militia known as Rise of the Moors in full military-style uniform has blocked highways in Wakefield, Massachusetts this morning. Then some fled into the woods. 2 got arrested. Several more armed persons are still accounted for by the police, and there's still a standoff on the I-95 highway outside Boston. Interesting stuff. Yeah, and that's all I had from the Telegram. So I think that's gonna be it, unless you guys have any questions about any crypto things or Flare or XRP, or we can do a quick Q&A before I bounce out of here. And just another reminder, tonight on Journey to Truth podcast, the link is down below in the description. I'm going to be going live with Zen God and Journey to Truth, and there's going to be a lot of awesome things talked about there. Some of the kind of topics that we brought up in the beginning of this video, but really going more into depth about like this. Oh man, it's getting stormy outside. It's getting really stormy all of a sudden. The flares. We're going to be going more in depth about, like, you know, the episode's called the Quantum Golden Age. So what that really means, like, personally, I kind of want to bring up about like how where I see technology going in a couple different versions of the timeline as we move forward, and how these solar flares play into it, and this quantum shift, and how that all ties together. So that's going to be an awesome one. You guys are going to want to tune in for that. And then obviously both of those groups, all 3 of those guys, Aaron, Tyler, and Zach, are going to be speaking at the Family of Light gathering. So if you want to like hang out with us in person, a couple other people from the Kangs are going to be there. Graf's going to be there. Hold Space, Kang Space is going to be there. Adam, Kang, I believe, is going to be coming all the way out from Hawaii, Oahu, which is awesome. And so if you're in, you know, that kind of community and you want to meet a lot of these folks in the physical and connect and create tribe, this is a great opportunity to do it. And in such an intimate venue, like an indoor intimate venue in Sedona with beautiful views of the Red Rocks. Like, if you've never been to Sedona, it is so incredibly powerful here. It's no joke when they say that there are vortices, you know, in the earth, and we can kind of talk about another time what that means scientifically, but the energy here is very potent, and you will for sure feel it and have an activation of some kind while you're here. New subscriber. I can't see who it is though. I gotta fix this little notification thing. Natalina Fuga, thank you for subscribing. And yeah, I guess while we're here, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit the little notification dinger bell, because I'm super shadow banned on this channel. And maybe that'll give a little bit of an extra help towards the views on this channel, since things are so suppressed. Yeah, okay, you guys are talking about the AUDIT in AZ and what's going on with that. I haven't heard anything more than I think they officially wrapped up in the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and they are supposed to be announcing their findings, I think, sometime this month, in the next couple weeks. And I'm seeing that like Pennsylvania and a lot of other states are looking at the way that the audit here was taking place and looking to recreate it in their own states. XRP versus Cardano. That's a good question. I will give you my take on it. To me, they're different things. They're different I mean, it depends if you're looking at it just from an investment point of view or from a utility and what it does point of view. From an investment point of view, I would be going with XRP personally over Cardano because I think the scaling and the capability of the return of investment is going to be much higher. From a purely technological utility point of view, they do different things, right? Cardano is doing really a lot for the DeFi community and taking some of these concepts from Ethereum and applying them in different ways and working with different institutions and really kind of popularizing proof of stake and smart contracts where Ethereum has been lacking, at least from what I can see. And then on the flip side, XRP doesn't do that, right? Oh my God, the storm is here is crazy. XRP doesn't do the DeFi smart contract scene on itself, but that's why we have Flare. So XRP by itself is basically the plumbing of what you could call the quantum financial system. It's the instant cross-border settlements that give it its major utility, with a handful of other things as well. Cardano just has a different use case, so I don't think they're competing really at all. But personally, as far as what I would choose to invest in, I don't actually have any Cardano, but I do have XRP. And I think that FXRP, which Flare is going to be creating through their minting process, will be able to do a lot of these same kind of things that these other proof of stake DeFis do. And it'll be really interesting to see Flare's DeFi system, which is not based on proof of stake. And so far, we've only had DeFi based on the proof of stake system. From what I've seen, there haven't been any DeFis that are not proof of stake. And so Flare represents what they call the first Turing complete DeFi system. And from my understanding, what that basically means is that it has the smart contract capabilities, but it's not based on the proof of stake. It's based on what is called Federal Byzantine Agreement, which is what XRP uses, which is a consensus-based network algorithm that draws upon the consensus of different nodes on the network to create the security of the network itself. And so Flare will be bringing that, the FBA, which is, in my opinion, a superior technology to proof of work and proof of stake, and it'll be bringing the DeFi to that too. So FBA-based DeFi over proof of stake-based DeFi is what we're going to see kind of duke it out, and I think that the FBA Flare-based one is going to knock it out of the water. Oh, Mad Hatter is talking about the unmarked. He said not a mob. It was because of the unmarked graves of the children at the schools in Canada. And yeah, that's been coming up a lot lately. Like, if you guys haven't seen any of those stories, like how the various Catholic church locations around Canada, they've been discovering all these graves of Indigenous children, which I'm wondering if, you know, of course that actually did happen, but I'm wondering if they're also covering up maybe more recent killings and actions like that, and they're kind of covering it up as being this Indigenous thing from 100 years ago or whatever, because I definitely feel like these groups were involved in doing these same kind of sacrifice type rituals up until very recently, and still. And yeah, it's really sad to see that, but it's good to have that all come to light. And it's so interesting how it's just like, you know, you look at the news now and they're like, oh, you know, hundreds of children found, you know, buried at these sites. It's horrible, but it's good that it's coming out. Welcome from Italy, Natalina. Good to have you here. I would love to visit Italy too. One day. Oh, 60 years ago, says Andy. Interesting. I thought I had read other ones say 100. That's interesting. Only 60 years ago, huh? Well, I'm sure that story will continue to evolve, and we'll find out more about that. It reminds me of, like, what was it in Santa Barbara at Harry and Meghan? Is that their names? I don't even know their names. Harry and Meghan, at their property in Santa Barbara, they found a child buried. Wow, the storm is wild, you guys. They found a child buried there, and they said it was an old native, but, you know, a lot of the signs are pointing to that it wasn't, that it was a child and it was more recent. And so it just makes me wonder if they're kind of covering up some of the more recent stuff by saying it's older. Why do you think ADA was pulled from Flare Network? Okay, so in my understanding, it wasn't pulled from Flare Network. It was just kind of, I'd have to go back and see if they ever officially announced it as an F asset. I think that it was more of a misunderstanding from the community about what kind of integration they were doing. And there's different types of assets that are being integrated onto the Flare Network. So there's also there's the F assets, which are XRP, XLM, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and then there is what is called FRC20, which are wrapped ERC20 coins, which have a different function and utility. They don't have the smart contract DeFi superpowers that the F assets have. The F assets are like the top tier. These FRC20 coins, which is I think what Cardano is being integrated as, means that Cardano will be able to wow, this is so cool. I wish you guys could see or hear the storm.
Alexander's live right now trying to hear the thunder in his video.
Oh, our brother Alexander is apparently also live right now. He's going to be speaking at the conference. That's okay. I'm trying to host a show. Yeah, Earthward says ADA wasn't pulled. It will be voted on and made an F asset. Yeah. So they integrated it as an FRC20 coin, but it was never made an F asset. But I think people just ran with the story, kind of like when XDC was added onto Flare Finance, and a lot of people mistakenly presumed that it was becoming an F asset. And Flare Finance, being a separate set of decentralized apps being built on the Flare networks, those coins are not FRC20 coins or F assets. The Flare Finance coins like XDC are going to be their own thing that they're bringing onto their Flare X decentralized exchange and Flare Farm and that kind of stuff. So when you hear about new coins coming out in relation to Flare networks, just make sure to do the extra little bit of research to know exactly what they're talking about and where the coin is being integrated and what sort of utility it's that function will be giving it and that kind of stuff. Oh, you can hear it now, Angelito? Italy is beautiful, but we have the Vatican. The Vaticano. Yep. We're going to clear that place out. We're going to make Italy great again. Make Italy beautiful again. Just got to get rid of all that nasty, satanic Vatican energy going on down there, and then Italy will shine bright. And same with all the other places like that around the world. We're definitely dealing with that here in the States ourselves, getting rid of all that junk, all that dark energy. All right, y'all. Well, I think I'm going to bounce out of here now. We've been on for... Oh, wow. Did my live actually stop and restart? It says I've only been on for 35 minutes. That's odd.
It's only been 10 minutes.
Huh. We've definitely been going more than 35 minutes, right? What time is it? Yeah, it's 1:30. Started at 12, so it's been about an hour and a half. So, all right, you guys, good stuff. Thanks for hanging out. No, now my computer's like doing weird stuff. Go away, weird pop-up. There we go. All right. It restarted. It's fine. Okay. Good. Well, thank you all for hanging out. Much love to you all. Let's burn a quick little bit of Palo Santo before we head out of here. Make sure to check out Family of Light Gathering website. Get a live stream pass. They're super cheap. It's worth it. 3 days for that price of 8+ hours of content a day is really worth it, and something that I would personally want to be involved in. So, Palo cleansing for all. Make sure to catch Zen and I on the Journey to Truth podcast tonight with Tyler and Aaron. It's going to be a banger. I'm super excited for that. It's going to be lots of good vibes. Alexis is laughing that I said banger. Am I not allowed to say that word? It's going to be a banger. All right, you guys. Much love.